Hello, Jan here from Into the Woods, and if you can hear a sort of a croaking sound in the background, that's the raven calling. There are ravens here, they're thrilling to watch. So it's a beautiful March morning. There's some lovely spring sunshine which is getting in my eyes, sorry about that. And I've come to talk about my method of growing celery, easy peasy celery. So my celery was here last year. I only ever have about 9 plants of celery, and I use those same 9 plants all year, and then I take them out and put some more in. So I do actually have a guilty secret, and I'm going to come clean with you now. I'm not very good at practicing crop rotation. I know it's a holy grail of organic gardening, and I agree it's a really good idea, and I have had times where I've sat down with notebooks and made a careful note of where everything goes. I'm just not organised enough, I'm just too disorganised. So I practice it to the extent that I don't put things in the same place next year for as long as I can remember back. So I can usually remember back a couple of years what was where. And so the celeries were here, they've come out now. This is one that I pulled out, looking a bit sorry for itself now, and it still had some growing points here, and there is a bit of life left in them, but it's quite a strong flavour at this time of year. It's a bit much, so I just pull them out and start again. So I have moved them from where they were, and I'll show you my system of growing them. Nothing could be easier. It's great. So my style of gardening is to find out what that vegetable likes, what conditions it likes, and then try and give it to it. Now, what celery likes is it likes moisture, it likes fertility, lots of food, and it likes to be forced to grow higher. And my system is I have a box that's open on the bottom, so it's just the 4 sides. Anyone who's a beekeeper might recognise it as a recycled piece of beehive. Actually, it works great. And within that box I put a good layer of homemade compost, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and within that I plant the little baby celeries. And because they're protected in this box, they can go out quite early. So they're already in now, they went in yesterday. What's the advantage of growing them in the box? Well, first of all, as I said, it forces them to grow up. And so we get nice long stalks of celery. I'm using the new varieties of celery which are self-blanching. I don't even know what that means, but it works when you use them this way. And I don't cut the celery off ever, I never crop them. What I do is I come out and I take a few stalks from each plant each time, and they just go on all year. And that's another reason why they need lots of fertility at the beginning, because they need something to sustain them all the way through the season. And the other reason for having them in a box is because they really don't like to dry out. If they dry out, then they become woody and not very pleasant to eat. So by having them in a box, I make sure that any water I give them is concentrated where it needs to be. So I will just come out in the season, I'll get a bucket full of water, I'll fill the box with water, you know, to a depth like that, and it will slowly seep down and soak this area without having to waste any water elsewhere. I'm going to wait until the celeries grow a bit taller before I mulch them, but I will be mulching them about so deep with grass clippings that have been dried into hay. And then I never have to touch them again. I never have to weed them. I will water them if it's dry, if there's a drought. I go on eating them until into the winter. We were still eating them a few weeks ago. So because we might have a frost, we've promised a frost this weekend, I've got a pane of glass that I'm going to put over the top just to make a little mini greenhouse to help these babies settle in. I'll be watering them for the first few weeks, and then they'll be left to their own devices. And we'll be eating lovely celery.